Guys, good morning and welcome back to the Desert Road. Today we have what's arguably one of my most favorite sports sedans of the modern times, the 2023 BMW M340i. This car comes to us fresh off the lot. We're gonna take a look at it, take it on a drive, review it, and give you all of our opinions. So follow us along. First of all, to me, this is one of the few cars, especially on the 3 Series front, that BMW didn't royally butcher. Everything from the 4 Series to the new M3, M4, just, have some funk to them. Some of the direction that BMW has gone lately is love it or hate it. To a lot of people, it's more on the hated side. This M340i managed to retain not only the classic BMW, some of the proportions, but the front and the back, it all just fuses together. It looks absolutely stunning. It looks great in this black finish. Everything from the headlights, the LEDs on there, the grille, the rear tail lights. I mean, it just all works in this car. Moving on to the interior, I think the dual screen setup that they incorporated for the 2023 looks absolutely gorgeous. At first, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. It almost feels like I'm sitting at home in my office in front of my widescreen setup. But the more I drive it, the more it just kind of seamlessly blends in and disappears into the background of the car. It works really well with this interior. They got rid of the almost clunky, awkward setup of having a screen here and then, a gauge cluster here. Now it's just all one smooth panel. It is a curved display. It's a little tough to see that it's curved from the driver's seat. When you're in a passenger seat, it becomes much more obvious of what it is. The graphics are just very, very sharp, clean, clear. I mean, honestly, as far as a screen setup goes, I almost could not wish for anything different. The one thing you will notice though is now we got rid of the physical AC buttons here. So all of that is now controlled through the screen, obviously through menus. It takes a little bit of getting used to, especially because some of this access and some of these screens are a little bit further away. So it's not right by your hand here. You do have to, focus quite a bit to mess around with some of that. But all in all, once you get used to it, not that hard at all to control most of that. The one thing I do appreciate that BMW still has retained is the scroll wheel. It gets so much easier to select everything from songs to change, go through menus. I really like that they still have left the wheel here. We got the heads-up display. It looks wonderful. It has, it's crisp, it's sharp, it has all the information you need here. You can have a compass, navigation. Obviously, you have your speed limit, the actual speed you're driving, obviously. So, no complaints there. Ergonomically speaking, the seats are very comfortable. I'm used to driving SUVs. Even in the highest setting on this seat, it still does feel like I'm awfully low to the ground. Overall, the seats do fit your body very well. I've been in here for a couple hours already. Zero pains anywhere, very comfortable. Definitely gives you a nice sporty feel in this car. The back seat definitely has more than enough room in here. I love this, the 4-door setup on here. The trunk is spacious enough, definitely, for everything from a weekend getaway to just hauling gear, suitcases. Overall, this is a fantastic package, not too big, not too small, and would work in close to any situation, whether you're hauling kids, going out of town, or just running about your daily duties on the daily. The steering wheel is top-notch. This typical BMW thick steering wheel wrapped in leather. It's beautiful. It functions well. It gives you this slightly soft feel to the touch. Just works amazing in this car. All the other elements in here, everything from the silver trim to this dark wood overlay in some parts of here is done very, very well. There's no elements of cheapness. My one chief complaint would be this plasticky piano black. They got a couple buttons here that, that almost like, I don't know if it's like buttons or what it is when you're pressing it. It's all right, nothing to rave about. We got the dual cup holders here. They're up front, glove box, you know, right under here. You know, other storage compartments and pockets, typical of a sedan. You know, nothing too outrageous. One last thing, I really do like how they incorporated the screens and the actual gauges in here. They almost modernized the way the gauges look. It looks very futuristic, almost like you're like in an airplane cockpit. I know some people love it or hate it. You know, I'm still more of an analog guy. You know, I like just standard traditional gauges. But as far as new modern gauges, BMW did a good job. They incorporated this in here. You can still have your map, you can have your music layout in here, whatever you want. They did a good job. Honestly, these screens are very customizable now, which is one feature that was lacking in the previous gen of this car. One thing that BMW did well, they actually give you the dark headliner, and again, on top of that, one of my features that is left out of many cars nowadays, they give you the grab handle. So that's fantastic. All the passengers have them. There is a moonroof in this car. The nice part is that you have a full solid cover on here, so if you want it fully closed out, you can do that. Many of cars today like to put that mesh in there that doesn't work all that well, especially in sunnier climates. So this is a really, really nice, you know, nice cover that you can completely black out the roof. All right, guys, moving on to the best part, which is the drive. Now, there's a lot of comparison, and I'm sure there's a lot of cross-shopping, even between this and an M3. And how close is this? Honestly, with some of the more modern 3 Series, I think this could almost pass for an M3 Lite. It incorporates so many awesome elements. I mean, it's got the sound for sure, right? It sounds great for a 6-cylinder. It's very, very peppy. With 382 horsepower, it definitely flies. There's virtually no turbo lag, especially on top of that being a mild hybrid that they started in 2023. It drives fantastic. It's not too firm, not too plush. We're driving this right now in comfort mode. Everything is overall very, very fairly smooth. Little to no road noise. We're sitting on these 19s. You almost don't hear the car rolling. The pickup on here is wonderful. The steering here is great. Very responsive. It's not overly boosted. It has just enough weight to it to really have you feeling the turns. All right, we're gonna throw this into sport mode. In sport mode, you can hear the exhaust open up a little bit more. It sounds wonderful inside the cabin. It's not overly intrusive in any way. The throttle response sharpens up and the car really flies. Yeah, we're gonna do a little acceleration here just to see what it's like. We're in 4th gear, drop it down to 3rd. All right, down in 3rd, and we're out. Wow, yeah, just thing really pulls. I mean, it's effortless, it's smooth. On the right side, the suspension feels wonderful. You feel it getting a bit tighter in sport mode. Again, nowhere near a point, kind of like all out there sports sedan or a sports car. It rolls over the road very effortlessly, very smooth. It smooths out the bumps very, very well. Handles on road, you know, even in sport mode, tremendously well. The brakes in here are typical BMW brakes. It has typical dead pedal zone, and then they're just very, very grabby. I appreciate it. You know what to expect, you know, especially when you're coming to a stop. What I really like about this is the balance it gives you between the sport and daily drivability. Driving this already for a couple hours, it doesn't beat you up in any way. The car is not loud to the point of making you want to climb out of here. It just has this subdued growl to it. A lot of you are gonna contemplate this versus you know, the M3, M4 segment. Personally, this would be my choice. I personally can't get over looks on the way those cars look, so I won't be you know, in the market for that anytime soon. The one thing though that I noticed driving this for a little while, just so refined, almost to the point of being numb. Like everything just works so well in this car. You know, you don't have that aggressive edge in here in any way. The car just, everything, every one of your inputs just functions so well. You can't fault this for doing anything wrong. It's almost like that A+ student that just excels in every single area and just gives you exactly what you want. So that's the pro and con when you're comparing against the you know, the higher trim lines. It gives you probably 90% of the car, depending on the way you look at it, for a cheaper price and better usability day to day. All right, moving on. We're gonna talk about 3 likes, 3 dislikes. My number 1 like is the looks of this car. I think in the BMW segment, especially on the sedan side, they just completely knocked it out of the park. It's just gorgeous. To me, this is like the ideal 3 Series spec, the way it looks. Just BMW did such a great job keeping this car almost true to its roots. Number 2, the ride and the refinement. I really like the way this car rides. I can be in here all day. It's very easy to drive all day and to live with on day-to-day basis. And then my number 3 like, I like the design language of where BMW is going with this whole new setup here with the double screens. It's gorgeous. The screens work well. They incorporated well inside the car. It doesn't look out of place like it can in some versions of the car. Overall, looks all very, very good. Moving on to the 3 dislikes. Number 1 is the fact that BMW took away the physical AC controls. I don't like to fumble with that. Again, it's something you're adjusting fairly often. I wish they would have kind of kept this in this center panel, so now it's incorporated into the screen. Number 2 dislike is how low the seat is inside this car. Maybe I'm just not used to sports sedans anymore, but it truly does feel like you're sitting on the ground, even though the seat is fairly comfortable. And number 3 dislike, now that I've been in this car for a couple hours, one of my bigger gripes is kind of like the lack of emotionality in this. It's a good, nice, very pleasant drive. This car does everything so well, and it's so refined that it kind of leaves you pondering whether you want more emotions out of this on your day-to-day drive. All right, guys, that covers our likes and dislikes. Thank you again for watching. Till next time on the Desert Road.